An incredible thing has happened. I've got to tell you. An episode of Doctor Who is being written here in South Wales right now. It's a new one that's being written from the future. What's happening is that the viewers in the future are sending me the messages, the stories, the scripts, and I've got them. I am the Doctor. So an amazing Doctor Who has become real. The entertainment that Doctor Who provides, the energy, enjoys it so much that it wants this Doctor Who story, and it's this. I am Doctor Who. I've been reborn into the character when I was born. The entire journey of my life has been to remember that I'm the Doctor, and I've arrived at that point just now. And so I've got to tell you. So the point of me remembering that I'm the Doctor and suddenly becoming the proper character is that I can tell you. This important message about healing. And now, what I'm going to tell you has to come quickly, and I'm going to tell it fast and probably a bit glibly, in terms of a middle manager delivering something to his team Friday, just before lunch. Perfect. Yeah, we're wrapping up our week. Okay, team. Right, if you finish your work this afternoon, just fuck off. This is what I want you to do when you're away. Every new religion needs a death figure to unite it. A figure that we can agree that if we look at this particular piece of suffering, we can agree that's as bad as it gets. And that if a human being can survive a death as bad as it gets and still shine like a light, that is God in action, provably. And that the story of Stella Esther Rademeisler is the story of this new religion. It's our new religion, the religion of the planet. Because I want every single person on this planet to look at the information about Stella Esther Rademeisler and think about it. Because if you can all agree that is the death cult figure that we need to look at when we seek forgiveness for our sins, and it works, then that's the one we're all going to agree on. And that from that moment, then all religions are correct. You're just aligning the central figure point, and all of your works are correct. And then you can look at what's been done and said and excise anything you think now is in that light of this agreement we've made, so that we can ensure that the words are true as they were spoken by your prophets. Because the words they spoke are the truth. They're the stories that they received in the same way that I've received the stories about remembering I'm the Doctor. They received a story that fitted them into the narrative of their time. It was a translation. And so what we've lacked, we've missed something. The King James Bible was 1,000 years, isn't it? And so we needed something now to mark a new religion. They don't last 1,000 years. It's too far away. It's too much doubt can be sown on the messages of Christ's suffering, for example. Too much doubt can be cast on that now for it to have the power that it needs to control people's morality. It's as simple as that. And so we just shift the figure of Christ into the figure of Stella Esther Rademeisler. And I want you to picture her in a gas chamber, and it's dark. She's kneeling in the corner. Her mother had told her, in times of trouble, pray. Pray to your God and fear nothing. And so when the people realised what was about to happen to them, they found Stella already in the corner praying. And instead of dying in terror, as happened in all the other gas chambers that Heisenberg put them into, they knelt in prayer with her and they died in peace. And so I want you all to take that moment as provably true, that moment existed. Or if it didn't exist, that you can imagine that it did. Because in imagining that it did, its power becomes magnificent. Because the meaning of the deaths of the people in the Holocaust and the meaning of the deaths and suffering of every single human being since Heisenberg took control of physics, has meaning. It got us to this point. It had a point. And that we've learned that the energy that was those people who suffered lives on in us. And that we understand how the family ties now all work, and about building a relationship with a young child, building a relationship with an older grandparent figure is the energy making a new home for itself when the older figure dies. And quite literally, I can show you the mechanism of how the transfer of energy from a dying relative is transferred into a younger relative. If that relationship has been really true and honest and loving and beautiful when the child is small, the bond is so true and sincere that at the death of that person becomes that person. And I know this to be provably true because I saw it happen to my daughter when my mother died, because their relationship was exactly that. And so that the transfer was really almost whole, and that my mother's energy came to me and to my daughter. But my daughter has not been prepared for it, as nobody is. She's felt this change, this shift inside her, and she's frightened of this change, as you all are, of this change that's coming, but you can't resist it. It's unstoppable. It is nature. You just have to accept it. As soon as you accept it, you realize it's wonderful, that there's nothing to be frightened of. And this is the story in the plot that's been happening that you've missed, is that my daughter and I don't speak to each other. My daughter doesn't speak to me. And that when she was small, part of my journey to this point was when I read her stories. And we read one about the railway children, and how there's always a moment in a film where a father and a daughter are reunited after much troubles and tribulations, and both parties learning so much about themselves and each other, and about love, and about what a relationship actually is, and the preparation of the passing of their energy, because Meg could take my energy if we can build a bond. And that will be the end of this episode. Picture Jenny Agutter running down the railway platform, "Daddy, my daddy!" And picture a grown man collapse into the deepest, deepest well of happiness that can ever be expressed by any human being on this planet. It's a thing of glory. And then there's some brilliant songs, and Richard Dawson and Sally Pilkington are doing the music. So it's going to be a fantastic episode. So you just need to go and look at the death cult figure and agree that. I'm going to do my stuff here in Great Britain as Prince of Wales, staking my rightful claim to the throne. Democracy's over. It's the return of the philosopher king. A new golden age. Welcome to Great Britain. And then there's the Doctor Who music. No credits. Fuck you, it's my story. Love rules. Do the work. Choose.